We come to the final race on the card here at Kempton this evening, a 7-furlong handicap class 6. We're looking at Magic in the Making, who was a winner over course and distance in March and put up two good placed efforts back from a break in September and October. But she was beaten a fair way last time and will need to put that well behind her. Behind her is number 2, Bounty Pursuit for Tommy Greatrix and Michael Blake, one of the older recruits, or older veterans in this race, who has won over course and distance in the past and won at Brighton back in April, but been a bit in and out since. And Cheek Pieces come back on tonight. A little bit too many questions to answer, I think, for Bounty Pursuit. Behind him is number 3, Dace, a daughter of a day, who won twice in 2021 and often produces her best at Chelmsford. Hasn't been in great nick recently, though, and has the widest draw tonight, so we'll need to find a little bit. And even though the mark is dropping, I haven't really seen enough recently to suggest that Dace is going to win this. Kieran Fallon, though, in the plate. A nice jockey booking is that one. Right behind number 3 is number 10, and that is Celtic Sorcia, who has only run 3 times, one of the more lightly raced horses in this race. Daughter of Buratina for Paddy Bradley and Pat Phelan. Wasn't a bad run 23 days ago. That came in a course and distance novice, went 4th. And on that, a mark of 51 could be very fair indeed, but remains to be seen, of course. He is quite a small diminutive type, or she is, I should say. But I think that mark could be a little bit on the lenient side, so interested to see how she goes. Right, behind her, try and make out this one. I think it is Alice Haynes' Vitesse du Sang, who was an easy winner in Classified Brighton Company 3 starts ago and followed up with 2 fine placed efforts in tougher races. Has good form on the weather too, despite never having won on this surface, and given he's an in-form contender, he should not be discounted. One of the better chances in this race, I would say. Behind him, that is, I believe, number 8. And that is Nick Vedder, who's been really badly out of form of late. Plenty of duck eggs next to his name, son of Rip Van Winkle. Used to be in decent form on the polytrack and on the tapeter as well. Ryan Sexton taking the ride tonight, but on recent form he's got plenty to find. Behind him is number 7, Al Afdal, who came right back to form with a flourish last time out at Chelmsford. There was market support, and quite sustained market support for him last time, and he finished well to come home a neck to the good. That was over 6 furlongs, but 7 furlongs is fine for him as well. He's quite versatile in that regard, and only £2 higher, that leaves him nicely treated. I think he deserves plenty of respect. Behind him is number 5, Monsieur Patat, a winner at Lingfield in March, and followed that with an excellent second at Windsor afterwards. Went off the ball a bit after that, but had a break and returned with an encouraging 4th behind Griggy over 6 furlongs last time. Did look as though 7 furlongs might be fine then, and should feel the benefit of that run now. Behind that one is number 13, Twilight Revenge. Nothing really recently, but 5th last time out was one of his slightly better efforts for Mark Usher and Hayley Turner. And although he'll need to improve on that run from the bottom of the weights, he can be given an each-way squeak. Right, that's it for Horses in the Parade Ring ahead of this final race, I think. I will catch up with the likes of Oa Starlight, the favourite, at the post. Runners down at the post then for the final race on the card of 9 here at Kempton, and it's been a fun evening, and this is a fun race as well, with a hot favourite in the shape of Oa Starlight. Ross Orion and Richard Hannon teaming up. In-form horse, just like Always Fearless was in the first race on the card today, also for Richard Hannon, but he couldn't win. Can Oa Starlight? I think he's got very solid claims, and I'd be surprised he wasn't there or thereabouts. He got off the mark in good style at Chelmsford 2 starts ago, ran very well again there, went second last time at Wolverhampton over this trip. I'm convinced this 7 furlong is as optimum for him as 1 mile, but he comes here in excellent heart, and it'll be interesting to see how he takes to Kempton, because he's never run here before. So Oa Starlight, definite form claims, and a top jockey in the saddle in Ross Orion. Al Afdal, I couldn't make a real case for that last time at Chelmsford, but he won anyway.
And Stott retains the ride. Right, final time, last race of the 9 at Kempton. Let's get back across to Tom.
Thanks, chaps. Looking forward to the last race of the night here, and a fun race to finish off with, I think. A Class 6 7 furlong handicap, and Oa Starlight, who is the in-form contender here for Ross Orion and Richard Hannon, is a bit like Always Fearless. In the first race on the card today for Richard Hannon, couldn't win. He was a bit disappointing, but he had finished first and second in his last couple of starts. And Oa Starlight has done the same. Been in really good form. And I thought his win at Chelmsford 2 starts ago was very clear-cut. And in the style of a horse who would go and continue to rise up the handicap ranks. And it wasn't a bad one at all when second last time at Wolverhampton over this trip. I am, however, unconvinced this 7 furlongs is as optimum a distance for him as the mile. But he does come in here in excellent heart, and it will be interesting to see how he takes to Kempton for the first time. He has probably got the best chance for me. I think Al Afdal could be one of those horses who, yes, he won last time. I couldn't really make a case for him at Chelmsford when I was there last time out. But he's one of those horses, I think, he pops up every now and then. He's not the most reliable, and stringing 2 wins together might just be a little bit beyond him, I think, especially tonight. For all the fact that he is only £2 higher than that win last time. He's over 7 furlongs, not 6 furlongs tonight. That should be fine, though. He's quite versatile in terms of trip. But there's not been the same sustained market support as there was at Chelmsford last time, and possibly he might just be vulnerable here. There's been a fair bit of money for Vivency, for Danny Muscat looking for that double on the card, and John Mackey, winner of a course and distance in the past, and didn't run too badly at all at Chelmsford just over a month ago. And without really quickening, she was there or thereabouts for most of the journey, and is well treated on her old form. Has got a nice draw, so a case can be made for Vivency. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more spark from her in the last couple of runs, but this isn't the strongest of races in the world, and she does bring some of the better recent form to the table. The likes of Nick Vedder and Twilight Revenge and Adace have all got very good form in the context of this race in their back catalogue, but they're all dropping down weights because of the fact they haven't really hit form, and I think until we see something from any of those, you can't really go in there with much trepidation, or you should be fairly intrepid if going after one of those. Number 5, Monsieur Patat, going into the stalls there for David Egan and Robin Brisland, a trainer who's had a cracking record at this track in recent history. There is Oa Starlight, the in-form contender, and the hot favourites as well. Ahead of this final race, last 3 going in, and one of those I think is going to be Magic in the Making, a mare who's been in pretty decent nick in the last couple of months. No, that isn't. That is Nick Vedder, looking to come back into decent nick, if you will pardon the pun. And there is Hot Legs Lil, Josh Bryan, teaming up with Dominic French Davis. Been pretty badly out of form recently, so needs a fair turnaround, this 80-1 shot. But the last one going in, so it's time to say many thanks to our commentator for the evening, and John Hunt.
Thank you so much, Tom. Enjoy the weekend. So this then, the Racing TV handicap, over 7 furlongs. We're good to go, and they're off and racing. So jumping away, a couple of them were slowly away. Celtic Socia at the back of the field, and Keep Me Happy likewise. Away well, Hot Legs Lil and Vitesse du Son, prominently ridden as well, gets the lead from the outside. Our Starlight jumped nicely, sits no worse than 3rd place. Magic in the Making comes next, Al Afdal in behind them, Twilight Revenge, and on the wide outside, that's Monsieur Patat, widest of all. with that one on the inside running rail as they make the turn is Bounty Pursuit, just slightly worse than halfway down the field as Vitesse Toussaint scampers into a clear lead round the bend. Our Starlight follows that one through. Nick Vedder is off the pace at the moment, sitting towards the rear end of the field. Also towards the back end of the field is Keep Me Happy, still one of those slow starters, as they make their way then round in towards the home straight. Vitesse Toussaint, Our Starlight second, Alaf Dal third, Hot Legs Lil driven along in fourth place as they now race on with Vitesse Toussaint out in front, Our Starlight, far side Alaf Dal still there with Every Chance, Magic in the Making, followed by Twilight Revenge, and after those is Hot Legs Lil as they now race down inside the final furlong. From the back end of the field, Nick Vedder thrusting home over on the far side running rail. Our Starlight, Nick Vedder, and down the outside, Twilight Revenge. Our Starlight, Twilight Revenge, and Nick Vedder. What a tight finish between the three of them. Really close. Judge required for all placings.
Yeah, really tight finish to the final race on the card. Or as they cross the line, that's very close. I'd be inclined to say Twilight Revenge on the near side, but as the head bob favoured Our Starlight, I couldn't be too sure, with the thrusting Nick Vedder on the far side making it interesting as well. But in the end, the photo finishes between Twilight Revenge and Our Starlight. And I think Twilight Revenge has just about got there, blazing down the outside for Hayley Turner. Found a bit of trouble in running, so if he hasn't won, I think he's been a little bit unlucky. And he's bounced right back to form, whatever happens, win, lose or draw, because he'd not really shown anything much recently. Fifth last time was very much his best run for ages. But even that would have given him a fair amount to do here. But he's got back in good heart and has closed down the principles late on. Our Starlight was there to be shot at. He was in the lead for quite some way in the home straight, and I just feel as though he might have got a little bit idle, a little bit tired. Here's the results.
First, number 13, Twilight Revenge.
Twilight Revenge has got up in the dying strides to deny Our Starlight and deny the hot favourites in the final race as well. One of the outsiders in the whole field was Twilight Revenge, but has won nicely, and that's a first glimpse of form really in his career, because he was a maiden before this, and yeah, Hayley Turner has conjured up some finish from him in the final throes of this contest. I think Nick Vedder has performed remarkably well, given how badly he's performed on his last 6 or 7 outings for Ryan Sexton. Really travelled nicely and showed a lovely turn of foot on that far rail. Probably in the wrong side of the track, as often horses are on the far side at Kempton, but he's run really well, and no doubt he'll be winning again soon. But great to see Twilight Revenge get off the mark for the first time. Let's just have a look at the head-on. And Hayley's got a wall of horses in front of her at this point, including Our Starlight. Vitesse Toussaint, who set the early pace, had nothing more to offer in the closing stages. Our Starlight took the race up. At some point, we'll see Nick Vedder coming from a mile back. Look at him in the quartered blue and red. Right towards the rear, right behind Twilight Revenge. Switches to the far side and comes with a whirlwind of a finish. It's just a little bit too late, as Twilight Revenge possibly in a better position down the centre of the track. It takes a while for him really to get going, but he just gets there on the line in the closest finish of the night. That's the only photo that's been called this evening, and probably the finish of the night as well, isn't it? Our Starlight, he's very solid in this kind of grade, very dependable type, isn't he? But unfortunately, given Class 6 company, you're always liable, if you run solid races each time, to be vulnerable to an improver like Twilight Revenge, and that's exactly what's happened. Nick Vedder on the far side too, great to see him bouncing back. And it's between the three of them at the finish, really. Nothing else got into it much. Alaf Dal was there. Looked like he might win at one stage, but has petered out quite badly in the end. There is the still of that very close finish, and in the end there's about a nose, and there were just over a nose that Twilight Revenge has won ahead of Our Starlight. 20-1 the winner for Hayley Turner and Mark Usher. I'm sure they'll be absolutely delighted with that. Hayley there with a big smile on her face, and a fine way to end the evening here at Kempton.